this early in the morning. Lori, hello? Hello? Can't hear you. I can't hear me either. Let's see here. The mic didn't want to wake us up.
Does it plug in the battery pack? Yeah.
He's working on it. Hello? There we go. All right. You guys, is it still going in and out? No, I think it's pretty comfortable. Okay, is that better? Yes?
We'll take it.
Okay, awesome. So first of all, I want to welcome you all to today's class on Internet Lead Generation with your Market Leader Professional Edition Systems and Realty Generator. So my name is Shannon Shimabakuro. I'm a Senior Market Leader Trainer. I don't care how you say my name as long as you say it with a smile. And I've been with Market Leader going on 7 years. And it is my absolute honor to share the stage today with these 3 fabulous panelists. If you haven't heard their name before, you will soon. Lori Ballin is, all of these 3 people are lead generation experts. So we have Lori Ballin, raise your hand, Lori. Tony Tivo, and J. Michael Manley, but you can call him Michael. So we're going to have a chance to hear from every single one today. Now today's class is focused on lead generation strategies, leveraging your Market Leader Professional Edition System and Realty Generator. So who in the crowd already has Pro? Woo! All right. Who in the crowd has Realty Generator or is a Realty Generator agent or admin? Excellent. So all of these strategies are going to apply to everyone. Now Francis in the back. Francis, raise your hand. He's our Market Leader Director of Product Development. So those of you that love Pro, give him a hand. He had a really, really heavy hand in building every tool that you're using today. All the good stuff he has his hands on. Other people build the other stuff. So anyways, I just want to welcome you. I really appreciate the fact that you got up so early for us and that you're spending your time with us today. So I want to go through and introduce our panelists. Can you guys each one by one tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and your story, and how you're using the products you are today and how they're helping your business? So Lori, go ahead and start with you.
Good morning. It is very early. Isn't it early? Just want to announce that. I'm Lori Ballin, and I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada. And I have been with Keller Williams for just over a year. We came originally from Coldwell Banker. So a year ago there was just the 2 of us, and now there's 14 of us on my team. So we've had some rapid growth. We closed just over 100 sites last year, and we're on track to do 240 this year. That's what we're designing for. So I use the Realty Generator product and the system itself mainly for managing my team and the lead system that's in there. And I'm very excited about everything that eEdge, Pro, and Realty Generator has to offer.
And I'm going to cut Lori off a little bit here. I think she basically oversimplified what she's accomplished this year. She started at 0 with her and her husband a year ago at family reunion. 0. They came from Coldwell Banker. They did not have a book of business, right? And now she's on pace to do 240. We can all see that kind of growth and improvement in our business over a year, right? We'd all be in a much better place. So that's really, really fantastic, and a lot of it has to do with her strategies to generate leads. So Tony?
Hello, I'm Tony Tivo. I'm from Elk River, Minnesota, and I'm a realtor, but I'm also a tech coordinator and ambassador and trainer up there, so I kind of split my time 50-50. And I guess my favorite parts is Market Leader Pro, just using that for lead generation between the virtual tours, single property websites, and of course the Craigslist ad posting tool. That's what I use, and that's where I get my business.
All right, any techies in the room? Self-professed techies? All right, so Tony's going to be your man today. His brain is very, very full, and we love to use him for anything that's really techie or really creative. So that's going to be the guy to pay attention to for those of you that want to think about all the really, really unique stuff. All right, what about you, Michael?
Well, I'm J. Michael Manley, and I'm from Greenville, South Carolina. And my story kind of begins in 2009 when my power was getting shut off in my apartment. I'd just gotten married, come home and didn't have the money to turn the power back on. And we ended up having to move out of our apartment and move into my mother and father-in-law's house in May of 2009. And so I came in and started taking Bold and jumped feet first into Bold. Mega Camp 2010. I was doing about 20 deals. I had capped, and from April to September at Mega Camp, met Market Leader, came in, got the full realty generator product, went back and hired my first buyer's agent. Had no clue what I was doing. But here we are, just slightly over a year later. We're generating on average about 444 leads a month right now. We're on pace to close 100, excuse me, it's too early in the morning, to close 100 transactions, and last night we were named the number 20 team in the Carolina region.
What a special treat, so thank you all for being here today. So since today we're focusing on internet lead generation strategies, can you guys go through and kind of tell us when you're thinking about generating leads, what's your role on your team or as an individual in generating leads, and what's your overall strategy when it comes to generating leads?
Well, I do serve as the rainmaker on my team. I actually am very passionate about internet lead generation. Not a cold caller, I never have been, and if I actually called somebody and they answered the phone, I'd hang up just because I'd be too scared. So I really like internet lead generation. So I've intentionally built my team even before I really got into MREA and learning about the models and learning how the mega should be the rainmaker. I was instinctively drawn to that. So I've been an internet lead generator for a long time. My husband and I actually had a previous business. We had the top catering and entertainment company in Las Vegas. And we were talking about it last night, that selling hamburgers or selling houses, it's all the same thing if you know how to lead generate. You can have an ice cream truck, it doesn't matter. Lead generation is lead generation. So my strategy when it comes to internet lead generation for me is all about Google juice. I want somebody, if they're looking for anything that's real estate related in my area, I want to make sure I come up on page 1 of Google multiple times, as many times as possible. So my strategy is placing ads, blogging, videos, social media, whatever it is that I need to do to make sure that that I'm coming up on the search results. And I've only had my realty generator site it was after family reunion last year, I guess, that all rolled out, and it ranks #1 for just about every community page there in our area, and for other search strings as well. So that's my strategy.
Fantastic, thanks, Lori. Tony?
All right, I'm kind of changing roles a little bit in my marketplace. I'm doing a lot more lead generating for a couple people on my team, and kind of an informal team, just opening up, doing some referral base. I'm really becoming a rainmaker as far as that goes, the online advertising. Take a couple hits from her and expand off into some other areas maybe. But it's really about getting people to my website and trying to keep them there. And I think that's one of the really big things that Market Leader Pro does. The websites are just amazing. The people love them, the feedback I get, and the amount of time spent on site from previous websites has gone up tremendously. The amount of leads coming through and registering has gone up tremendously. It's an awesome website with all different pages you can set up for landing pages, getting them there, keeping them there, and getting them through and hopefully closing deals. So.
Excellent. Michael, do you have different strategies or things?
Yeah, I mean, everybody comes to me and they're kind of like, I'm the systems guy. I put together systems to make things work, try to make them work as smoothly as possible. But we work very hard at getting them up and running with a very skeleton crew before we have to have them making money before we can start leveraging them out. So my assistant, which is my mom, because I couldn't find anybody else to work for free for me for 6 weeks while I was going through Bold. And so she worked 2 hours a day for me while I was going through Bold, and now she's on with me full time and does make it out. She does get paid now, and very well. So but she actually for 7 months posted Craigslist ads for me for 2 hours a night, every single night, 7 days a week. I mean, if she wasn't able to post, she'd call me and say, I need you to post tonight, and I would post. And we did that for 7 months, 7 days a week, and before we were able to have enough revenue coming in where we could actually hire a VA to actually do all that posting now. My job right now, of course, is to continue to build the team, but also to create the systems. Like we had a night where we went down to 2 leads in a night on a Saturday night, and we were like, something's wrong. And so Craigslist had just dropped the capture code, so we spent the next 2 weeks trying to figure out what was going on testing. I have 2 VAs testing Craigslist right now. So one was posting our standard way, the other one was doing all the variations so that we could test one against the other. So now we're back up to where we can get, out of 50 ads that we post a day, we can get them all in but one.
Excellent, excellent. So let's, really quickly, will each of you tell us what your top lead generation strategies are, and then we'll dive into what those strategies are. So go ahead and start with you.
Our top lead generation strategies right now, as far as on the buyer side and the seller side, is internet lead generation. In our Craigslist posts, we actually include an hypertext adding to the sell page of the Realty Generator site or the Market Leader site. And what it says is that if you interview one of our competitors and hire us at the closing table, we'll give you $500 back at the closing table. And they click on that and it takes them straight to the sales page of the Market Leader site, so that they can fill out all the information about their property. We can give them a call back and say, hey, I know you signed up, you wanted a free CMA about your property, can we come out and take a look at the property, because to give you a value for your house without taking a look at it would just not be fair to you.
So, Michael, would you say that out of, let's say you have a pool of 100 leads, right? What percentage of those leads come from Craigslist?
Well, out of 444 leads that we've gotten in the last 30 days, 266 of those came from Craigslist. We are now starting to see, after we didn't start posting Craigslist until February of last year, so we're now starting to see a lot of SEO juice come from that Craigslist posting, where we have consistently just posted and posted and posted. I think since February, I can count on 2 fingers the nights that we've missed posting. I mean, we just don't, I have to keep my agents and leads. Now, as of January, I have 5 buyer's agents on my team, so I have to make sure that I keep them in leads. That's my job. And if those leads fall off, or if those leads aren't coming in, I got to figure out what's going on, because if they go 2 nights with no leads, they're going, what's going on? What do we do wrong? So
over 50% of your leads are from Craigslist. The other roughly 50% is now from your SEO value that you contribute to your site from doing this so consistently and having them all consistently point to your pro, or in your case, your Realty Generator website. And this
Right.
is something every single person can do starting today. Okay? So today it's all about implementing strategies that you can write down today and immediately implement into your business.
the other thing too is that I think a lot of people think they have to write all these fancy ads and all this stuff. We didn't even start posting anything other than property listings that came straight out of Craigslist, or came straight out of the Realty Generator site, until a week ago. It was straight property listings. That's it.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Michael. So Tony, now I know your role is, you pretty much in the past have been generating leads for yourself, and as an NC tech and trainer, you've gone and trained other agents in your office how to do it themselves, and you do it also for other people because you're so good at it. Can you share a little bit about your strategies? And well, let's start with what percentage of all the leads you generate and how people generate are from Craigslist versus other sources?
I think my story is a little bit similar to Michael's here, that most of my leads, probably 78%, are coming from the Craigslist, and it's coming from posting out of the Craigslist posting tool with Market Leader. And I'm starting to see more and more people that are coming back now from visiting the website from a Craigslist ad, that they're just coming back, so I'm getting a lot more SEO traffic now, a lot more direct traffic coming in. And that's pretty much common across the board with the other 2 members that I advertise for. We're really starting out heavy right now on the Craigslist, which is our main source, and it's starting to convert over. We're starting to see a couple trickle in that are just coming back multiple times, so it's starting to work.
So when you're training people in your office, and this is something you're really, really good at, what what keys and what tips are you giving them to help them post or use that posting tool to post to Craigslist?
Biggest thing I say is just post it directly out of there. I got the biggest results immediately, just converting over from the ads that I thought were cool and pretty and successful, and started using that tool, and my leads went up tremendously.
Do you think it's important can they basically space out their consistency? Can they post frequently? What's more important to you? Like basically going and posting a bunch in a couple days and then easing off of it, or being consistent? Have you found any trends that you've seen that leads to more success?
I like to be consistent. I think you should be, and it's something that if you're using tracking tools and stuff, you can physically see, post an ad, you can get a lead within a half hour maybe. So it's something that if you're sitting around and thinking, you know what, I haven't got many leads in today, go post a couple of Craigslist ads, they're going to pop in. It's really consistent. So I think just being consistent on it multiple times a day, every day of the week, and you can get the traffic in.
Is everyone familiar with how the Craigslist posting tool works? Raise your hand if you're not familiar with it. Okay, so because we don't have visuals, we're going to act this out. No, just kidding. So, all right,
Stand up and look like a website.
okay, so I'll be pro the system. So basically, when you're an agent, and I'll quickly walk you through this. In your system, there's a section called Manage My Listings or Market to My Listings. There's a tab there. And in there, if you go in there, there's a third tab over. It's a sub-tab. And it says Post to Craigslist or Craigslist Posting. Okay? When you click on that, it'll show you all of the listings that are either associated with your agent MLS ID, if you've entered it, or your office MLS ID, if you've entered it. So those are really the two things you need in order to make this happen.
You can do both.
You can do both. So the question was, can you do both your agent MLS ID and enter your office MLS ID? Yes, you can, but we all highly recommend you get permission from your broker, okay, to use those office listings and to post them. Every MLS has different rules, every office has different rules, and some people even go as far, and Michael, I believe you go and take around a sheet, don't you?
Yeah. I have just a little form. It's one paragraph, and it says, I, and then has a blank for their name, give J. Michael Manley permission to advertise my listings on third-party websites, including Craigslist. Sign here.
Why would they want to do that?
Because now they don't have to. We make sure that their properties are being advertised, and they don't care who's advertising them. They just want them sold.
Right, you position it as a benefit, right? We're going to help you get your listing sold faster. Is that okay with you? I think that would be okay with us.
And I think we had one person sign the sheet, and his client called him and said, you know, hey, why aren't you advertising my listing? This other team's been advertising my listing now for 3 weeks, and you haven't done anything. So we did negate that agreement between the two of us because he wanted to get back in there and build his rapport for his client. But, I mean, nobody, and I've given permission for other people to advertise my listings also. The way that we post through the tool, it doesn't lock up anybody else from posting that same listing within 48 hours or anything like that.
Excellent, okay. So we're in the Posting Craigslist tab. Okay, can you all picture it in your head? There's a list of listings there. They're either yours or a combination of yours and your offices, depending on which IDs you've entered. And then there's a little link that says New Post. You click the link and the system gives you some gobbledygook code and you're like, oh my gosh, this is way too techy. I don't know what to do, let me back out, but resist the feeling. Okay, resist the urge. Because when you go in there, all you need to know how to do is to literally copy and paste. So most people are more familiar with the Craigslist side of things. What you need for Craigslist is you need an account, it's free. So you just go to Craigslist and you log into your account. And then what you do is you're going to go to the real estate services section. So you go to posting housing offered, real estate by broker. Okay? And it's going to take you to a form to put in your listing. And so that's when you take the gobbledygook, you just really click in it, and it will auto-highlight and auto-copy for you. Easy, breezy, depending on the type of computer or operating system you have. Right? Otherwise, worst case scenario, you just drag down your little mouse like we're used to, highlight the whole thing, Control-C for copy, or the little file menu copy, and then we paste it into the Craigslist form into the description. Okay, the rest of the stuff, I think you can do that too. You can copy and paste and bring it over, or you can just freehand type. And there's different strategies on whether or not you want to put in the price, put in all these different areas. But that's generally how you do it. And then when you click continue, one of the things that's great about that Craigslist posting tool is you don't have to freehand type anything. There's already a link built into it. It already is pulling the primary photo for your property, so you don't even need to add in an image. And that link, when they see it in the ad in Craigslist, when your buyer, potential buyer or seller or whomever sees it, when they click on it, it drives them directly to your site, your pro or realty generator site. And guess what it also does? It's some crazy code that makes a little carrot pop up. It's not a literal carrot. It's a big thing that's like bait. It says, hey, if you like this home, there's 31 or 52 or how many more homes there are similar to that property. So it's all about getting them to engage with your site. And as we all know, once you see one property, when they try to look at the next ones, they can see the list. If they go to the detail page, it prompts registration. But all you've essentially done is gone into your account, click a link, copy code, and paste it into Craigslist. Can anyone go to Craigslist, right, and create ads? Absolutely. The Craigslist posting tool with your pro system or realty generator just helps you do it more easily and frequently. Now, does that make sense? It's going to be easier if you walk through. We have a lot of videos and tutorials on mktldr.com/KW. We can walk you through it. And there's a whole, I'll give you some more resources at the end. Okay, but there's some really quick videos. And we're going to hold questions to the end if that's okay. So is there any other tips when people are posting ads to Craigslist? And Lori, do you have any tips that you would recommend? And I know you, what percentage of, let's start here, of all the leads you generate, what percentage of the leads you generate for your team of how many, 5, 8, 7?
14.
14. Oops, not that one. 14. So she's generating leads for her entire team of 14. What percentage of those leads come from Craigslist?
I generate right now about 800 leads a month. I'm going to say 600 of those are probably internet leads, because we do have 80 to 100 listings at any time, so we get a lot of sign calls. So about half of our internet leads do come from Craigslist. So we do a lot of Craigslist. I would say more of our closings come from the half that's not Craigslist, but we definitely do a lot of Craigslist, and I forgot your question.
So
I told you it's early.
We're both West Coast timers, so it's like 4:30 our time.
I covered the first part.
Too. Okay, so the question was, Lori, is if you're going to manipulate an ad, if you're going to change anything other than from just copying and pasting in the proper description, putting in the exact price range, putting in the area, and putting in single family, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home in Clarksville, how would you manipulate that? How might you change those based on your goal?
Well, I'll tell you, when it comes to Craigslist specifically, I don't know if you guys have read Seth Godin's Purple Cow. He's a big marketing genius, and he talks about, if you're driving down the road, you see a field of cows, and there's a whole bunch of black and white cows, you're going to go, oh, there's some cows. If there's a purple one in the middle of it, you're probably going to stop and pull over and see why this cow is purple. So I believe in that kind of marketing in general anyway, something different, something that's going to stand out. So I do a lot of the Craigslist tool, and I'm a big advocate of it, and I love it, but I use other things to mix it up. So I actually use my Market Leader website. It's the same if it's Realty Generator or Pro or eEdge. I could do the same thing on any one of the products. I will take something such as our community page that I set up in there, and I'll basically take a screenshot or snag the image of the community page, put that in and say something like, we have master plan communities in Nevada, so Summerlin, for example, which is a master plan community, I might put, see the most popular homes in Summerlin today, and then put a link, put an image in there that looks like that page and send them over. It might sound technical, but I'm going to tell you guys, I am not out of this table, I'm sure I'm the least technical, but I have figured out a way over the years to use the internet so that I can reach a mass audience and capture as many leads as possible. So I have a lot of leads, like a lot of ads like that. I also generate a lot on the listing side, which most people aren't talking about, and 99% of our listings come from the internet. And I do the same thing with my sell page on, I do the same thing with the sell page. I basically grab a picture of the sell page form and I put something like, Las Vegas real estate values, or what's my home worth in Las Vegas, and drive them to the sell page, and that's also a unique ad.
Fantastic. Those are some really good tips.
Just what's the book?
What's the name of the book? I believe it was Purple Cow.
Oh, Seth Godin's Purple Cow.
Seth Godin, Godin. Seth Godin. Purple Cow is the name of the book. It's about being unique. So any other tips, and I know you guys post a lot to Craigslist. Tony, let's start with you. When you're training other agents to do it and replicate the kind of success you've had, I know you generate over 80 leads a month for just yourself. You're not even powering other agents beneath you. So that's a phenomenal amount of leads for just yourself. So what different ways are you tweaking the ads, or are you adjusting it so you can try to attract as many buyers or sellers as possible?
Yeah, what I usually tell people, just start with the basics, of course, see how that's going to work for you, and then start tweaking, and kind of like what Michael was saying here, he was doing it out of trying to prevent being ghosted, but just try to increase traffic also. Play around with the wording, play around with pictures, adding pictures, taking away pictures. I usually like to, on a property, I like to leave at least one picture, but a lot of my ads have no pictures, and then just play around with wording. You've got a title there that's going to really attract people. That's your number one thing. So you got to have multiple titles for your ads, and place the same ad, day after, a couple days apart from each other, whatever, with different titles, or one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and just see which one attracts more attention. Just a lot of trial and error, and trying to figure out which is going to get people in, what type of ads. I think each part of the country probably works a little bit differently too on how much information to have or how little to have. So, but I find the best ads that I have really have just minimal information. It's going to be a house. It's a beautiful home. You should buy it. Come on in. Things like that. It's nothing more than, I never talk about, well, very seldom ever talk about square footage, number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms. I might say something about the lot in our areas. We've got a lot of big lots, a lot of big, river lots, things like that. And once in a while, it's nice to say, on a Mississippi River or whatever it happens to be, and that's kind of a good attractor. But unless it's 5 bedrooms above, I would never mention bedrooms, and a couple other things. Just really keep it basic. Try to not deter people from coming in.
Great. So you might have heard, I don't know, has anyone heard of Keith Cuddyback? Who's part of the 30-day Craigslist challenge, one of the people that started that. And he is a big fan of basically what I'm hearing similar things from words that Keith was using, and he was saying, stay away from disqualifiers. Okay, if you want to cast a large net out there to try to catch as many fish, avoid disqualifiers. So what he meant by that was, like Tony was saying, avoid specifics, like bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms in a very specific area. You are disqualifying a bunch of people from clicking through on that ad. And so that was one of the strategies that people have been playing with and seems to be pretty effective. Okay? And another way of doing that is short sales in Fremont. For under this amount, if it's a really good deal, that's another thing that could attract more people and driving them to a listing results page. And what we mean by listing results page, the part of your website that has a bunch of listings. Okay, we always want to drive people to where there's something of value that they're going to want to click through and become your lead, right? Because they want to see more. So
They never want to see one house. They want to see houses. So if you can deliver results versus a house, it's always better.
great. Now, Tony or Michael, maybe this time. Michael, what would you recommend for different landing pages? What kind of bait do you use? We've talked a lot about listings using the Craigslist posting tool. Do you use different parts of your website for bait like Lori does, like the sell tab for sellers, the community pages, other things like that?
We use 2 landing pages. We use the sell side of the Realty Generator Mkt Ldr site, and we use individual houses. That's it. I would like to say that maybe we are more of a scientist when it comes to posting to Craigslist, because I've heard people running multiple Craigslist accounts, multiple computers, all this stuff. Since February of last year, we've had 1 Craigslist account. We run it on 1 computer, and we post 1,350 ads a month. Out of that 1,350 ads, 6 a month on average get flagged. And out of our Craigslist postings that we're posting right now, we see about, we've gotten it down to 2 to 3 a night on average that will get ghosted. And so we really try.
Ghosting good or bad?
The ghosting is you do all the work and get none of the benefit from it because it never goes live. So that's what, and for those of y'all that you're posting all these ads to Craigslist and you realize that your traffic is starting to drop, go back in and on the consumer side of Craigslist and see how many of your ads actually went live, because Craigslist will make you publish it and do all the things like it went live, but it never goes live. And you never get any benefit from it.
And at night you got the 2 leads, that's what happened, your ads were ghosted.
Right, exactly. I mean, when Craigslist dropped the captcha code, the night that we got the 2 leads, we were like, what's going on? So we immediately started testing and we went back in and looked, and that night we had a 54% ghosting rate. So I'm paying 2 people to post to Craigslist at different hours throughout the day, and half of their effort went out the door. I mean, never even used. So we had to track it down, and what we've done is we've come up, and we can watch it, because if they get faster, when the captcha code went away in Craigslist, what happened is
What's the captcha?
Okay, the captcha code for when you're posting to Craigslist, they used to make you know, those funny words where it looks like a picture and you gotta, I have to refresh them because I can't read them half the time anyway. But they used to make you do that. Well, it slowed you down. When that went away, my VAs pushed right on through, and they were rocking it out. They got to the point where in 3 minutes, they could post 2 ads in 3 minutes. So we had to slow them down. And so what we do is we follow the 3-9-5 ratio. So we post 1 ad in 3 minutes for 9 minutes. So we get three ads posted in 9 minutes, and then we make them stop for 5 minutes. And then they start back. And if they validate, because I make them, they track, I don't make them, but I ask them to, they track when they're posting each one of the ads and what time it is when they hit the click button. And because they're tracking that, I can see if they speed up, if they get 1 minute faster than that 3-5-9 ratio or 3-9-5 ratio, that next ad gets ghosted. And so they are very, very strong about staying on that time schedule. 1 ad in 3 minutes for 9 minutes with a 5-minute break. And then the other thing too is on the Craigslist is when it comes to being flagged, if you're having stuff flagged over and over and over again, my EA is my mother, and she's a C personality and cannot stand to somebody to tell her that she's wrong. You know, and so when Craigslist would be flagging her at night, she would freak out. She'd come in the morning almost in tears because she was told that she was wrong. She had done something wrong is the way she looked at it. And so she would take days of Craigslist postings and start highlighting words of what keywords they were looking for to flag. So she goes in and they all go in now and clean up all the descriptions. There's nothing that says churches, there's nothing that says kids, there's nothing that says playgrounds, there's nothing that says gated community, there's nothing that says anything that could be a fair housing or even be construed as a fair housing violation. So that's why we've kept our flag ratio down so much.
Excellent. Those are really, really great tips. Thanks so much, Michael. So we've covered a lot about Craigslist. Let's navigate into some different opportunities, different ways of generating internet leads. And Lori, I know this is part of your forte. So you mentioned earlier that you generate 800 and something odd leads. About 50% are from Craigslist, which means another 50%, and your more lucrative 50%, ones that tend to lead towards closing, so from different avenues. Can you talk about what goes most from your testing? So we don't have to recreate the wheel, right? We're all about the fastest and highest use of our time of what we can implement now. So what are your most lucrative strategies? Let's start with that.
Well, again, everything I do is with the intent to show up on a search engine when somebody does a search. That's the main goal. So I'm really heavy into blogging, not as much in the traditional sense of, article writing, but more of creating things, advertisements more like we use on Craigslist, and carrying them over to blog sites such as ActiveRain, WordPress, the sites that get a lot of Google juice. We do a lot with video. That is a really, that's something we're focused on, creating a human, you know, face to a name kind of a thing so that they're being drawn in. Plus, we get a lot of Google juice now from video. Google's really liking YouTube and indexing the videos. We're also really into social media as well. So creating a brand, creating a product, and getting it out there as much as possible. So we just want to really make sure everything is as saturated as it possibly can with us and our product and our listing so that we get the business.
Excellent. So what are you using to create these video ads? Let's start with video. Can you explain your strategy a little bit more? So what's the process from start to finish of how someone would go about that?
Well, again, because I'm not, I'm a high P, DI, don't care too much about analytics. All the DIs in the room, raise your hand, come on now. Chance to turn.
We know you're not shy.
Yeah. So I'm all about quick results. What can I do quickly that's going to be powerful without a lot of money, without a lot of time? And so that's what video is perfect for. I use a very basic, the camera in my computer. I use Cyberlink. Cyberlink Cam is the software that I'm using right now. It's like $20 for the whole year. And it's no green screens, nothing fancy. It's just a basic point and click. This is who I am. This is what I have to offer you. It might be something as simple as, again, on the listing side, maybe we just closed a short sale. So I may do a video on how we just closed a short sale. It may be something like the community pages, and I want to talk more about that community. We might videotape the Summerlin neighborhood and put out a YouTube video on that. We also use it we have a 10 Days of Pain on video. So you guys have probably all heard the 10 Days of Pain from Ben Kinney, and we've created a 10 Days of Pain on video, so I'm able to take everybody that comes into the eEdge site, export them into another software program, and send them all the 10 Days of Pain on video, which is very impactful. We get great results from that.
Excellent. So how do you tie that into your market leader site for people that are looking to really maximize their realty generator sites or their pro sites?
Okay, well, several ways. I have video on every page that the product will let me put video on, which I believe right now is the main text, the sell page, and the career page. I think I'm able to customize. So I have videos on all of those. I have message templates in the system that I've set up that I'm not able to actually put the video in those templates right now, but I do have the links, and I actually put on there, click here to see us in person, and they can click through and see the video from there.
Are those your custom message templates, which are a pro feature, a realty generator feature, the ones that you drag and drop one at a time? Or are you talking about creating a custom campaign in my marketing?
I have both. I was referring to the message templates. Those of us that have the Pro and the Realty Generator are able to customize messages and save them. And it's a very simple drop-down message. We're just able to pull the message. And I have the 10 Days of Pain in there. It just basically has the verbiage script, and then says click here to see us in person. They can click through. And then I also, on the marketing, we've created a custom 10 Days of Pain. And I think there's 2 out of that series of 10 that we're allowed to put video in. So I think 2 out of those 10 actually do have the video on there as well.
Right. Well, I'm doing a session at 4 o'clock in the tech room on the new My Marketing. So you're going to see some great new enhancements coming when it comes to adding links to any of your marketing pieces.
Nice.
So that'll be a fun addition to help you and help everyone else with a similar strategy. Let's transition to blogging. So what are I know you blog a lot, but you have a different methodology and real purpose. You don't do a lot of writing about specific neighborhoods. It's more about with a specific goal in mind. What is that goal usually when you're blogging?
Again, with me, the goal is always the Google juice. I want to make sure that they're doing a search, I'm going to come up. So the blogging is really good for that. One of the things I've done is I would recommend this to everybody. I set myself up as a customer on my eEdge account, and I put myself on the 8x8 touch and the 33 touch, 8x8 seller, 8x8 buyer, and I send them to myself. And then what I do very simply is I do a copy and paste, put them on a blog site. And I do customize it in some ways so that I'm not dinged on too much similar content. But that phone just totally threw me. Somebody's paying KW cares over there. Anyway, so yeah, the whole goal is for the search engine. So I use the campaigns to create blog posts. I use the ads that I create for Craigslist and others. Each of the community pages are a blog post.
Okay, fantastic. So what would you consider your main blogging sites that you use? I know you use a lot of them. Let's give them a list of your top 4.
ActiveRain.com.
Why?
Active Rain is a community of realtors and people that are in the real estate industry, so finance, mortgage lenders, that kind of thing. So it's heavily populated by real estate lingo. So Google gives it a very high ranking because we're all talking about the same subject, basically. So it gets a lot of Google juice. That's a big reason, even though it's a real estate community, consumers are searching for Google and the Active Rain blogs come up a lot on the search engines.
Did everyone hear that? Okay, because that's the number one thing I hear about people when they're talking about Active Rain. Well, I'm not sure I want to be blogging on a place where there's all of my competition. Your competition, it's leveraging all of those keywords so that you show up and your posts show up in Google. That's what Active Rain does for you. Okay, it's not about talking to each other as much as being in a place where more people can find you. So.
It is a great place to get referrals from other agents as well. So it is some great networking there as far as that goes. Just so that you understand what I'm referring to is everybody works very, very hard on their search engine optimization, right? So you're paying people thousands of dollars to plug your site with some keywords. It's pointless. I mean, it's 2012. We're so far beyond all of that. What Google's looking for is fresh content, continuous content, popularity, a lot of click-throughs. The more they see you on the internet, the better everything you do ranks. So what happens is when somebody does a search, let's just use Las Vegas short sale specialist for example, which is something that I do. When Google pulls the results, they're no longer just pulling your website, your website, your website, your website. They're pulling Craigslist ads and Active Rain blog posts and things like that. So it's not actually my website that's popping up on page 1. Well, Realty Generator is a lot now, but it's more of the blog post on Active Rain. It might show up number 3 on Google when somebody types in Las Vegas short sale specialist. So when they click on it, the Active Rain blog post opens up, and now inside my blog post, I've got enough calls to action and enough things that interest them that they will then click through to the website, if that makes a little more sense on how that works.
Excellent.
And the other 3 you asked about, WordPress, and it's the
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
.com or
WordPress.org. You actually pay for hosting. It's not the free one. It has a lot of Google juice. Merchantcircle.com is another one that I use, and it's free and it has a lot of Google juice.
Merchant Circle?
Merchant Circle.
I can see people writing it down and I want to know.
Yeah, merchantcircle.com.
Okay.
And Blogger. And Blogger I use more for my design of the blog post than I do just for the Google juice. It's a great platform to design ads in.
That's a great non-techie tip. Here's a non-techie. All right, so if you're not really good at writing code or changing the look and feel of things, fake it. Lori's really good at faking that piece of it, right? Not only putting all those words in your mouth because you already told me that.
They call me the queen of copy and paste. If you can copy and paste, you can do everything I do.
Awesome, which is great. We can all copy and paste, right? Yep. All right. So,
if you can't, you're in the wrong class.
Excellent. Did you guys have any other things you wanted to add?
I was just going to say, just kind of some of the things she talked about there is, getting Google juice and really trying to get well with Google. And a couple of tools she mentioned there, Blogger, YouTube, things like that, owned by Google. If you can popularize yourself there, it's going to help you a lot with Google juice and stuff. So really, everything she does is extremely purposeful. There's people that are writers out there, sit out there, get a blog, and just write stories and whatever else and stuff. That's great. People love it. But if you really want to work in search engines and get yourself up, you have to have a lot more purpose. Be purposeful about where you're doing it and how you're doing it. Keywords, content, links.
Absolutely, absolutely. How many people here have customized, taken the time to customize their website text? Excellent. Who has not? Okay, look around you. Keep your hands raised, and it's no shame then. Look around you. Multiply that number by about, 20,000. That's how many people out there right now have sites that look just like yours.
So that's
Okay.
your homework when you get home.
That's your homework when you get home. Google every single day is rolling out new releases. It's a bigger deal today than it was 2 months ago, than it was 5 months ago, than it was a year ago. You need to, any part of your site that you can customize, which is, if you're a pro or realty generator admin, is your main site text, your cell text. Okay, you're going to have soon with the next release more ability to customize your community serve pages. Any place you can, is what you should do is highlight and delete everything you see on there, because that's duplicate content, and that is not, it's something that Google will be like, they'll want to ignore it if they can. So just highlight, delete it, and write it freehand. You don't get more points for bold, you don't get more points for underlining, you can, because it's just they're constantly making updates to look for people that look like human beings. So just be yourself.
And I don't write. I mean, I just can't stand sitting there and trying to write content because I'm just not creative enough to do it. So, I mean, literally, you come to my site, and it's going to have the exact same stuff on it that yours has. It still has the KW logo. We haven't changed anything. So just because you haven't changed it, don't let that keep you from moving forward, because, I mean, we still push on forward, and it's just not been in one of our big rocks to change it yet.
So everyone write on their paper right now, write down the date that they're going to have all of their site updated by. Right now. I want to see hands down, no eyeballs. Okay.
My website, actually, if you want to write it down, just for a visual, is ballengrouphomes.com. B as in boy, ALLENGROUP, homes.com. And I'm only saying, because I actually have gone in there and customized all the pages. It might give you an idea of how you can use your video and put some of your own personal stuff in there.
But don't copy everything that Lori
Oh,
does,
thank
because then
you.
it'll be duplicate content for her.
Yeah.
So just freehand type it. Now there's some other strategies for generating leads online, and I want to make sure we leave some time for questions at the end. So what are some other strategies? You mentioned social media. Does anyone use Facebook to generate leads?
We use Facebook pretty heavily. On the tabs on the Facebook, we actually have the widget stuck in an iframe so that people can come through there. People are clicking on pictures and videos in Facebook. And so what we do is every property we put on the market, we use a professional photographer that does HDR photography. And so it could be the ugliest house in the world, and HDR photography makes it look unbelievable. And people will click on it. So when they click on it, it shows up, it's got a link back to our Realty Generator site, to that house. And people are like, they'll start commenting on it, and you'll watch the insight on Facebook, and it starts to grow, 4 or 5 people commenting on it, and you realize that it reached 900 people. It starts growing and growing and growing. With our videos, we post all of our videos in YouTube. We put the link in the descriptions, the very first thing in YouTube, because every house that we put on the market, we shoot a video for. So we post that in there, drop it in, and let it roll right on through. So that when we drop it in Facebook, that link comes through in Facebook, so that they can click right on through and go straight to the Realty Generator Market Leader site, and again, getting more traffic because people like video and people like pictures.
Right, and that's something that Facebook rewards, just like Google. So think about Facebook having its own search engine, right? Has everyone noticed the news feed in Facebook? Right, where you see, have you noticed that not every single one of your friends are showing up there? Yes? That's because Facebook will basically cause more people to show up in your news feed if they like your posts, if they comment, if they're engaging with you, and vice versa. So you're not showing up in other people's news feeds unless you're posting things that are worthy of engagement, that other people are attracted to and clicking on. And one of the things that show up more frequently are pictures, are videos, are things that incite comments. So with Facebook, you can't just post, hey, here's a new listing I just got. People are like, that's not funny. right? It's not comment worthy unless you're inviting a conversation, which is what what I'm hearing you say. So,
The pictures are what invite the conversation. It's not the actual listing or that we're posting a listing, it's the actual pictures. The people will comment and say, oh, that's a wonderful house, that's a beautiful house, that's a great house, or those pictures are unbelievable, that kind of thing.
right. Another example of bringing in feedback about a listing is, what about posting 2 pictures? Hey, I just listed a home in Barton Creek and I just listed a home in downtown Austin. What is the best neighborhood? Vote. And so people are going to totally have an opinion on that, right? Think about getting creative. It's not about not being able to leverage this as an opportunity to still market yourself, market the listing, but it's about doing it in a different way, inviting conversation. So Tony, do you have other things to add
I
there?
was just going to kind of say what you said there. It's not about selling. Is this
Yes.
It sounds like it's on. It's not really selling the property. It's not selling anything else. You're inviting a conversation. You're creating dialogue and trying to get that back and forth. That's going to create the relationships, and eventually that will sell homes in itself.
Right. Why don't you use the other microphone? I think that one's a little quiet.
Did anyone catch any of that? All right, so it's really just about creating the relationships, and that's what Facebook's all about. It's not about selling, it's not about doing business, it's about creating a relationship, which will turn to business as the people trust you and like you and follow you. So getting your stuff on there and creating the dialogue going back and forth versus just like, hey, new listing, buy it, go look at it.
Have you used it for referrals at all? Has it been a good source of referrals for you?
For us, we use it, we're now up to, I think, 1,200 friends on Facebook. We've got 374 people on our Facebook fan page. So what we do is we'll go in there and post, and a lot of my friends will say, you know, hey, I'm looking to buy a property now, or hey, such and such is looking to buy a property now. So I used to hate Facebook Messenger, but now I love it because people are constantly going, that's how they're starting to communicate through their phone is Facebook Messenger. And so they'll communicate back and forth going, hey, I noticed that property you've got listed, you know, I live in that neighborhood, and I know that some people are looking to move in, or, you know, hey, this is, you know, I'm looking to buy a house in March, or it's a way for them to stay in contact and me to keep in front of them on kind of a light sell. I'm not going in there going, hey, I'm looking for referrals, you know, I love referrals, or I heart referrals. It's, you know, just a general conversation on a daily basis.
I love your voice when you're mimicking other people. All right. Okay. Tony, what do you think about Twitter? I know you've been using Twitter a lot. So you have some interesting strategies with Twitter.
I do it. I think all my social media I use kind of the same strategy going across, trying to keep it lighthearted, trying to keep it conversational if I can. I mean, you're not doing anything if you don't get a response coming back. So it's going to be the same kind of a thing. You know, sometimes it's like, I don't know, is this the ugliest house you've ever seen in this neighborhood or whatever else? You just try to get people to interact with you, get some feedback coming back.
Great, fantastic. So we've covered different places and ways that you can, find me, from Craigslist to just general SEO, to Facebook, to Twitter. There's a lot of different strategies, leveraging videos in your blog, videos on your website, the search widget. There are so many tools that you have in your Pro and your Realty Generator arsenal. The biggest difference between the people we see up here and where we want to be in our business, I think, is consistency. It's focusing on whatever you're doing and then adding one more thing to it. X plus 1. Oops. X plus 1. Okay, that should be your focus. Whatever you're doing today that's working, continue doing it. Don't fix something that's not broken. But then taking a new strategy and implementing. So if you guys were to go through and give us, if you could summarize, what's the one thing that you would want to share with the audience that you think could really make the biggest impact on their business today going forward, since it's the last day of family reunion? Let's one at a time go through what that is. Can we start with Michael?
I would say do not worry about making it perfect before you start. Just put it out there. I mean, when I started, I didn't have Ben Kinney's 10 Days of Pain, and I didn't have the money to buy IMSD, so I Googled 10 Days of Pain, and somebody had blogged about it with the exact wording in there. I went in and copied it all, stuck it in my Realty Generator site, and I told my buyer's agent, I said, that's what I want you to do. Just run it. I don't want you to change a word. I don't want you to change anything. Just run it. And over the years, over the year, I guess, the 16 months, we've actually started tinkering it, and we've now built it into what we call the 21 days of gain, where we run it every other day. We video email, we tinker it down. Our most productive email come from an accident. So when things happen or things change, don't get frustrated. It's another hurdle out there that you've got to figure out how high to jump to clear it. Our MLS and Market Leader didn't play nice there for a little while, and we lost our foreclosure and short sale feed. Well, that was a big email for us. My agent said, "What do we do?" I said, "Keep sending the email without the properties." That is now our most productive email that we send out in our 21 days of gain, because people are they'll respond back and they'll go, "You didn't attach any foreclosures or short sales." "Oh, I'm so sorry," and here they are. We now have our feedback, but we just kept pushing out, and it's our most productive email from a problem that happened. We just kept pushing through. Don't worry about getting it perfect, just keep moving forward.
Great advice. Tony?
All right, I guess my biggest thing is just be really consistent and just, develop a process, develop times, set the times, schedule it, just like your regeneration and everything else. That's part of my regeneration. And just be consistent. And also follow communities out there on Facebook. I think all of us have shared a ton out there, learned a ton out there. Facebook, was it EH Mastermind page and other pages out there. I mean, just get out there and talk to people, find out what's working, find out what's not working. We had a pretty good conversation after that whole ghosting incident, trying to go back and forth and figure out why people are being ghosted, why it's being ghosted. There's a lot of good people out there to learn from. Take some hints there and stuff, and just get out there and be consistent and drive it. And I don't know, people talk a lot about the 10 days of pain. 10 days of pain is really just kind of a theory, a process. Just about everyone you talk to that's using it, everyone tweaks it, modifies it. It's really just over 10 days trying to communicate with these people and try to get them to decide, are you a real buyer or are you just looking? So it's just really about driving that process. You can develop it for yourself, but everyone uses it a little bit differently.
Excellent. Thanks, Tony. And Lori?
Well, piggybacking a little bit on that, I think the number one thing is discipline. Consistency, absolutely. Nothing I do would work if I didn't do it every day. And I think that's something I think really needs to be driven home. And I'll tell you, we talk so much about Craigslist, and what happens to everybody who's posting on Craigslist when it shuts down tomorrow, or when it starts charging and now everybody has to pay? I get very concerned at the masses that are only doing Craigslist and nothing else. So I would highly suggest that if you are doing Craigslist, that's fabulous. Expand your horizon. Use the Market Leader products I mean, there's so much there for us to use. If you really had any idea, come shadow me for 2 hours and watch. It's absolutely unbelievable what you can do with it. But none of it matters if you're not disciplined. You can't get up one day and post an ad and then think you're going to get all these leads from it, and then wait, and then do it again. It takes discipline. I'm lead generating every day for 2 hours in my pajamas before I go to work, and then I block out another couple hours when I get there just for lead generation. So I think discipline is probably the number one.
And you get up at 4 a.m., right?
3 a.m., but not during family reunion. We're staying up late. Can't do that.
Awesome. Well, on behalf of the audience, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day, and I'm sure the audience wants to thank you too. So, your tips, your passion, your investment in helping everyone in this room and myself and Market Leader, we really thank you. We know you have other places that you could have been, but instead you're giving back to your Keller Williams community. So thank you very much. Now we're going to open it up for questions. Also, Francis, there's 2 papers we're passing out. Feel free to take up. There's one on 35 reasons to go pro. Can you hold that up to me, please? Can you be my Vanna White? Yeah, sure. I'll let you ask the first question. So hold it the other way so they can see the front. That's 35 reasons to go pro. One of the things they're talking about was being consistent, leveraging the tools. A tip for you, take that sheet and write down and highlight everything you think you're doing really, really well. And then put a due date next to one that you're not doing. Okay, and put a due date of when you want to match that by. That's an actionable item that you can take away. So visit Booth 221 if you're not a Pro or RG subscriber yet. There's some really good deals, and it's ending today. So we're going to have questions line up in front of Francis here, so that way we can make sure we can get the most amount of questions answered. And please try to keep your voices down so everyone can hear the questions. Please do.
Lori and Michael, you both mentioned that you generate a lot of seller leads off of Craigslist. Are you running ads specifically for sellers, or within your buyer ads as a kind of, oh, by the way, if you need to sell a house, click here?
Mine are very specific. No, mine are run under the real estate services category, the financial category, and the legal categories. We're primarily short sales, so I specifically create ads that say Las Vegas short sale help or Las Vegas home values, and create something around that.
I'm not, I stick just one line hypertext link in a buyer ad, and that's it.
Thank you.
I have two questions. You mentioned Google Juice many times. Is this something you buy by the ounce? Funding discounts? You buy more? What is this?
Something you earn.
I was laughing last night. I told my husband that I don't have blood. I flow Google juice. No, Google juice is I also call it feeding Google. It's the power that generates Google. What was your question?
You don't buy this.
It
equates
down to how
it's-
Google likes you.
Yeah, just a phrase, what we call for giving it the results.
Okay, so and then the question I'm curious about in terms of your time. Obviously, you're all doing this. I can see you guys in front of a computer a lot. So I'm wondering, for those that are more from the traditional business, phone calling, expires, or referrals, getting more referrals from our. How much are you spending now not doing that traditional business and just creating leads through the social media and internet and the market leader business?
I built my business off of expires and for some owners, and so that gave me the ability to leverage and actually, bring my mom in, and I handled the online lead generation and Craigslist and those kind of things off to an EA. So that's why your first hire is your EA and your executive assistant. Have them leverage that piece out so you can continue to be on the phone going, good morning, 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 and let the internet do its work. And then after that gets to a point where you've got enough leverage and leading with revenue, then from there hire it out to a virtual assistant. Our virtual assistants now work just on the lead generation piece. With our 21 days of gain in lead coordination, we have two virtual assistants. One works 40 hours a week and one works 14 hours a week, just doing that.
Thank you.
Okay, I hired a virtual assistant in the Philippines, and she does every coordination and Craiglisting, and the problem I was running into is that she had to get my number to post, and then we started doing that, and then I kind of do submitting, and then she's like, we have to buy PVAs, and then I was hearing that those aren't really working either unless like geo-specific, so just curious, how you guys getting around virtual assistants who are not in the country posting Craigslist?
None of us are actually using virtual assistants right now.
I am.
In the Philippines?
Mhm.
Oh, then you answer that.
Yeah. We use virtual assistants in the Philippines. We have a computer at the office that is dedicated to the office. She logs in through LogMeIn, and we just pay for $29 a month for a LogMeIn account. She logs into our site, and that's how they run it. We do have the issue where they're sending the codes,
Yeah.
and those go to my EA, and we use Google Talk, and that's how we communicate back and forth with our EAs. So when we get one of those codes, it just goes straight. If she can't get mom, the EA, then she just mom will send it back via Google Talk on her phone, or if she can't get it, they'll put my telephone number in and send it to me, and I'll send it back to them. There's only one code. They only get one code a day.
Right, so how are you posting an ad every 3 minutes for 2 hours with one? How are you doing that? Because I couldn't do more than like 10 or 15.
She's right there logged onto that LogMeIn account, and she's just gotten that fast. I mean, she just posts straight through the Craigslist. We're not doing any special ads. It's just property listings.
So is it your phone number, or did you buy a phone number?
It's my phone number.
Okay.
It's either mom's cell phone number or my cell phone number, and we just send it via Google Talk.
Interesting. And then the other question is, how are you tracking your traffic?
Through the pro site.
Okay.
Through the site activity.
But,
Yeah.
oh, you're right, I thought you, okay.
Yeah, I've not gone in and done all the, the pimpmyedge.com, I've not done any of that stuff.
Okay.
I just track it through the site activity piece.
Thank you.
Hi. I know you recommend customizing where you can on the pro site or on the market leader site. Do you recommend changing that up? And if so, how often?
Is that a good question for me? Or
Whoever.
for whoever?
Whoever.
Well, at first I would just completely rewrite everything you possibly can from scratch. Because anything that's defaulted there that is customizable, it's on everyone else's site that has not changed it.
Right.
And that is duplicate in the eyes of Google, which means you are at risk for your site being not seen by Google because it doesn't like duplicate content, right? It doesn't make you look like an individual human being. So any place you can, I mean, that's the most important thing, just do it once. Feel free to change it up, would be my recommendation. And do you guys have different recommendations or anything to add?
We haven't changed ours, so probably not.
So Michael, I'll be calling you next week on
I
Friday. That'll be the date.
have an action plan now.
I don't know if you need to change it up so much. I don't know if that'll help you a lot, but I think just personalizing it instead of customizing so much, just personalizing it about you, I think is better. You get the value propositions on the selling page, buying page, things like that.
Okay, so you don't think this should be treated as like a blog where you need to freshen up your
But you
content?
could, like Laura, I think you're probably rotating your videos on there maybe?
Yes, I freshen mine up continuously. I'm always changing it up, actually. I will at least, at the very least, I will add fresh content and get rid of anything that was standard. The only thing I think I've kept is the self form to request a CMA, because I do get listing requests off of that, but everything else around there is different.
Okay, thank you.
As you're blogging, just keep creating the back posts and stuff, the backlinks coming into it and stuff. I think that'll help. That'll help. Just
I've been puzzled over the last couple of days about all the Craigslist. My market area, which is geographically and property-wise relatively large, we have broker reciprocity IDX. Consumers can go on any broker site, find any property at all. I have not, I don't think I've ever heard a consumer say, oh yeah, we went to Craigslist and we were looking for properties. I just have never heard that real estate is something, at least in my market, that people think of real estate and Craigslist in the same word, the same breath, the same day. I'm wondering what the dynamics are in your area.
I don't ever hear it either, but I see it every minute of the day just about.
I hear it constantly. Well, what we're finding, I'm in Las Vegas, we literally have to post 400 ads a day to stay on top of our it's ridiculous. That's how many people are posting because there's that many consumers on there. But in our world, they're not going to the phone book anymore, they're going for listings. And if for some reason where we're at least, they know to go to Craigslist almost before Realtor.com. It's what do they say, it's ranked number 3 in all of the searchable sites now.
Do a Google search for properties in your area and see how many Craigslist ads come up on the front page. There's a lot of people doing it. I don't know if people talk about it as much, but people don't talk about garage selling a lot all the time either, but people do it every day.
And I'm just thinking, if I'm a consumer and I know I can go to a broker site and see all these pictures and customize my search versus going to Craigslist and getting, like you say, somewhat generic, nothing special about square footage, bedroom, bath, or anything like that.
Well, it's typically what's happening actually is the consumer is going to a search engine probably first, and they're looking at real estate based on what they're looking for in neighborhoods. Craigslist is coming up continuously on those search results, which is driving people into that neighborhood as well. They don't know, let me go find an IDX site. We know that because we're talking about it. Consumers don't think that way. They think, where am I going to go find product? And it's becoming more widely known that that's a place where brokers are putting their listings continuously. The key to that is now giving them the IDX listings inside your website and keeping them there once they're there. But
So it's not, you don't feel that it's so much of people, okay, I'm going to log into Craigslist to look for houses. I'm logging on to the internet, looking for houses, and Craigslist is coming up.
that's a big part of it too.
All right, thanks very much. Question?
You mentioned on the internet about GHR photography or something, or something.
Yeah, it's HDR photography.
Oh,
It's a
HDR.
high resolution photography where they take 5 shots at the same thing at different light levels and then combine them all. We have a
You said you were taking your own pictures.
no.
Oh, I thought you
No,
said
I
that.
have I don't take photography at all.
Okay.
And that's for me to go out there and try to do that anymore. It's like that, I can spend my time on the phone doing something else. So we found a photographer local that pays, he charges us $75 a listing to put that,
Right, we have that.
take those
Right,
pictures.
Right, and one other question, I was expelled from Craigslist. Is that because, is that because I posted them, the same thing within 24 hours?
How much were you posting when you got, would you use the word expelled? How much were you posting?
Not a lot.
Just
One thing, like an open house or something, on the same property.
Okay, and how do you know that you've been expelled?
They kept sending me emails just saying, you've been,
Okay, those are
True,
scams.
that's
Those
a-
are
that's a
not
scam.
real. That's why I'm
Craigslist
asking.
will not tell you you're in jail, Craigslist jail.
Yeah, that's a
It will never
scam.
tell you.
You're only shut down when you try to log in and you can't log in anymore and it says your account's been put on hold. That's when you need to go set up a new account.
oh, because they keep asking for my phone number or something.
Yeah.
Run.
Stay away from it.
That's a good tip.
Stay away from it.
All right, last question.
Hi, this question's for Laura. I wanted to know about the 10 days of paid video. How do you send those? Is it automatic when you send them out? And is it market leader?
I'm hoping the new marketing that she's talking about is going to allow me to send them all from there. Right now, I'm using a system called bannermailer.com, and it's something like MailChimp or Constant Contact. It's just much cheaper. And I've created the 10 days of paid on video in there. It still drives me back to my market leader site once they watch the video, but it's really a YouTube code that's in the video that they're watching. So it's bannermailer.com. I can't get into all of it, but basically all it is it's a snippet of the image, and then I just put a link attached to that plays. No, you can't actually email the real video.
Brings you over to the site.
Right.
One suggestion on that downstairs, the company called BombBomb.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend looking into that. We've been in a Combat5.com system for the last year, and they've had some issues. So my VA last night went through and pulled everything out of Combat5 and is migrating everything over to BombBomb now.
So BombBomb is, I know it's email.
It's a video email.
Video, but
Yes.
can you do it set up for, 10 days?
Yeah,
21
this
days?
you're able to actually schedule the 10
Oh,
days
yeah.
because it works more like MailChimp or Constant Contact.
Yeah.
You can send it where that's
So,
more.
and that's, we use our video email pretty heavily, and our VA send it out as the agent, so.
Right.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you, everyone. Let's give them a round of applause one last time.